So please start.
Thank you very much. Here in Norway, it's a very beautiful day, and I hear the birds are singing outside my window in my office. So that makes me kind of thinking about sound. We do, research the sounds in storyline, as the headline says. It's very important to say for us that this is a research that is very much in the making, so it's not finished yet. But it's a good way in the making. And we have been researching a critical analysis. Yeah, if you take it back, the title is A Critical Analysis of the Contribution Composition of Soundscapes Makes in Storyline Projects Among Teacher Students. Next page, please. Thank you. Aim and background. The aim of the study was to include sounds in a storyline project conducted in teacher education as an additional sensory dimension. In particular, we aim to investigate more closely how creative use of sound can contribute to an increased learning experience for student teachers participating in the storyline. Further, we want to provide insight and understanding of the potential of sound used in improvisatory musical representation of the frieze, based on Wilson and Hospital work titled Using Music to Enrich Your Storyline, which they presented at the 7th International Storyline Conference 4 years ago. We were so inspired by their presentation that we have adopted and further developed their work for our context. In this study, we distinguish between music and sound. This means that all participants have been involved in composition sound environment without necessarily having specific prior knowledge in music. And this is very important for us. We say a little bit more about that later. The compositions have been made both with musical instruments and non-musical instruments, for instance, the voice and other objects in the surroundings. And our research question.
Yes, I'm gonna say something about the research question. And it's based on the creative use of sound and soundscapes in storyline. We have the following research question. What significance does sound have for the development of the fictional universe and role work in storyline? And to what extent did this sensory dimension contribute to creating meaning or motivation in the learning process? Yes.
So, as already mentioned, the point of departure was Wilson and Haskell's work, which they presented at Ljubljana. And it was actually my mother, who is also at this session, who went to that session. And she got so inspired and was so eager to tell us about this sessions she went to. And after that, we have actually done this teaching unit in all storylines we have done at our college. So so in this storyline project, we always implement it after the frieze is made, or after the frieze is made. So according to Wilson and Haskell, every frieze has a story to tell, they write, which can be expressed in several ways, also with the use of music. So to set the scene and bring the place and time of the storyline into life, according to them, the students within this project were to discover how sounds evident in the particular environment, being the frieze, can be found, and further how these sounds can be transferred into music. Here are two examples of the frieze made in some of these projects. On the left side, the students have included a wooden ship in their island, while the frieze on the right side illustrate a lake in the high mountains in the middle of the island. The unit lasts for about 45 minutes and the students work in their groups. In total, the unit consists of 4 phases. In phase 1, that's actually an individual phase where each of the students are to make suggestions for sounds that apply on a regular day on their island. Because we work on islands, that's the topic or the place of the storyline. They could both write words and, of course, draw sketches. And you see some of the notes on this slide. In phase 2, that phase includes a round table brainstorming within the group, where all participants were to express ideas and suggestions of sounds based on the first phase. And here you see some of the students. In phase 3, the students were to assess, discuss, and vote or select one sound that will represent their island based on all the proposals from phase 2. These sounds were written on varied sheets of paper. On the slides, you can see that this group chose the sound grintin, and I don't know what that is in English, but it's the sound that pigs make. So they chose the island's pigs and wanted to make that sound. In the final phase, or the 4th phase, the group were to experiment with a soundscape that could represent the selected sound. They were to use instruments or the body sounds. The soundscapes were to last for 10 seconds in total. Additionally, they had to decide on when the sound could be heard during a regular day, meaning at what time. The pig sound, as in the example, could be heard, as you see on the slide, at 6 a.m., 8 a.m., and 10, and on noon, 2 o'clock, 4, 6, and 8 o'clock. After this work, the sound orchestra were played, meaning that all the sound representing the island were played together in the classroom. And on the right time of the day, now, you see on the right side of the slide, you can see the time. I don't know if you actually see it because I see now that it might not be so easy, but it shows the time during the day starting at 5 o'clock and ends at 4 o'clock in the night, during the night. So while the quadrats indicate the sound that are represented, and I don't know if you see my mouse now. Do you see that? No, you can see that. But here on the right side, you see all the quadrat with all the sounds, and among them, grunting from the pig then. And for those interested, we are actually going to write a paper about this work where we go in depth of all the phases, and it would be easy to adapt if you don't understand exactly what we are doing here. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the methodology, and we are in the beginning of the analysis. So we have not finished, it's not finished, this paper, so we are in the beginning of all the coding and the analysis. So, but what we base our research on is a qualitative approach to that data gathering and analysis. The study consists of student teachers at 2 different teacher education institutions in southern part of Norway, all participating in different storylines. But the soundscape unit was part of both projects. So the corpus of data used for this presentation include a total of 10 group interviews with a total of 31 student teachers. Six of the interviews were conducted using Zoom due to COVID restrictions, while 4 were carried out face-to-face. Data was analyzed inductively using the software program, which you see on the slide. And we use that program for managing the coding. So, yeah.
Yes, and so far, some of the theory we are using is von Wilhelmsen quotes: when students in higher education are actively involved in the education, it seems that they learn more.
Yes, and Harmony Kedo and Theodora Jimenez have been doing research regarding auditory stimuli and found that auditory stimuli have great potential to evoke emotions in people.
And furthermore, Asu Tatai and Vastfjall, I'm not sure how to say that in English, but it's spelled Vastfjall in Norwegian. They're saying that auditory perception is central to most interactions we have with our surroundings. Sounds have a great potential to communicate biologically significant emotional information.
And according to Bradley and Lang, listening to affective sounds can produce as great physiological reactions as looking at affective images. Developing and creating affective sounds will also be central to improving memory performance and memory. Da is Øystein.
Next slide. Yes, that's
okay. I think it's my turn. The preliminary results. We found that creative use of sound made it easier to play out the fictional universe. Here are some quotes from the teacher students on how they were getting into their fairy tale world with help from their soundscapes. I think it makes sense because you were going to pinpoint more what your world was. And you heard the other sounds of the other worlds while we were doing ours. It was a creative and exploratory theme.
Another student is saying that I get another clearer picture of what the world looked like through the instruments. We got the idea that we wanted in our world.
Yeah, and another student is saying that I think we got a broader picture when we not only got the image of what our fictional world could look like visually, but when we also were able to use our hearing sense. So I felt it gave more depth in understanding the world we created. We somehow got to add another dimension. It also helped to further develop the world, or at least the thoughts we had.
And yet another student saying that meaning. I felt it made sense in the sense that it was not just a visualization and construction of an outside world. It became part of what feels more meaningful, more than observing it.
Yes, and regarding multi-sensory learning, we had given some thought to what the world should be like, but when I heard the music orchestra, I lived more into it and felt that I felt it more in my body. That's why I think of that's what I think of when I think of the storyline now. I experienced it with all my senses then.
Yes, and our preliminary conclusion so far is that the students seem to be quite comfortable and got enough self-esteem to make and develop the sounds related to their frieze without any prior musical knowledge. They seem to distinguish between music and, in this case, sound. Furthermore, sound have a great potential to push the students in the learning direction, and it gives them a wider and deeper understanding of their storyline fantasy world. And that's our conclusion so far.
Thank you. It was actually quite difficult.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I would just inform you that you have 5 minutes left, but you are already ready with your presentation. So thank you so much. And now it's up to everyone here to raise questions. And you here, if you want to say something, you can just come here and take it. Yes? Yes. Welcome, Ulla. Yes, you can come here. And if you want to say something, you can raise your hand. We can have the gallery view so we see everyone here. So up. It's not gallery view, no? No, it's speaker's view.
Do we have a sound sample, Jon?
No.
Yeah, we can show the. Do we have it?
Yes.
I
We would
don't.
like an example. That would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah, we have, but mine is actually not here at the moment. So
You can take a question first here.
yeah.
Well, hello, my name is Ulla. I come from Gothenburg here. Thank you for an interesting presentation. I also teach music, so I was really excited to hear about it. Do you ever play the sounds like a composition, or is it just sounds, or do you connect the two? Or how? Because I thought you made a distinction between sound and music.
It's definitely a composition, we think, but it's not necessarily music. And saying that to the students, it made them feel a lot more self-esteem. Because I don't know what if birds are singing, is that music? I don't have the definition. Some will say that it is, and some will say that it's not. So it's not music in a traditional way, but we call it composition, and I think it is. It's a composition, but it's not necessarily music.
In an interview, one of the students were saying, "Oh, is it supposed that we should make a brass band or an orchestra here and get very stressed?" And then we said, "No, you're going to make a composition of sounds. Everybody use sounds, everybody hear sounds, and everybody can make sounds together, making a composition." And so it went very well, I think.
Well, I'm Rebecca. Ulla, you can stay.
Okay.
I don't know. Do we disappear sort of? I'm Rebecca. Ulla and I work together with Storyline and music and art. So I was thinking, how do you think these models that they built sort of made? How would I put that? The connection between that they have the landscape and the sound. Do you think it would be less if you didn't have the models? Or do you think they do something together, that you have the entire environment and the sounds?
Yes, we think it's the multisensory aspect here, because they have their visual story build up first, and the auditory is kind of melting together with the visual.
So
yeah.
do you work in a team with both art teachers and music teacher in this, or is how does
Yeah,
it work?
we actually have two of them here, Gunhild and Solveig.
Okay, great. Great seeing you. Yeah.
So this unit had actually evolved during several years now, or since 2018. And in the beginning, it was only a 20 minutes unit where they just got to dig into music like for a couple of minutes. But now it's involved, and it's taking 1.5 hours actually, the whole unit. And we are actually have lots of plan for redeveloping it even more. I don't know, you can maybe, we are going to we are going to record the music they make, or the sounds they make, and actually put it on the frieze, so it's kind of an interaction.
Great.
Iterative.
Yeah, Ulla and I, we're going to speak later on today after lunch, but we're going to talk about the place and the characters and the sounds. So quite interesting to listen to you, or really interesting to listen.
Maybe we could have a workshop developing this.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have some ideas, but we haven't. Yeah, we are. In the brainstorming phase.
Good.
How to develop this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a question in the chat. Can you read it, Liselott, or I have it here, perhaps?
Yeah.
I can see it here.
What if your school lacks equipment, instruments? It's not necessary to using musical instruments at all. You can use anything that makes sounds. You can use your body, your voice, everything that makes sounds. And musical instruments, it's not necessary at all. You can also make something that likes.
And we have tried different things in the latest project. You can see on the slide that they had instruments and and can try those. But in other projects we have carried out it, we have used body sounds, papers and water running from the tank and so on.
Yes, and that's, I think, a good way to learn, teach students that don't perhaps have instruments in the class to use the body. That's important to think about.
Yeah,
here we have a question. You can just, you can see it yourself there. If you want to answer to that one. It was that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, my experience with this is that they actually become more creative when they have to use bodily sounds or non-instruments. So they are out, they run outside, greiene, vad heter greiene? Take some trees and greiene into the classroom and use the sounds of that. So they are very creative when they don't have instruments. So I think it's as well fun to work without instruments.
We will next time also try with some software and program and let the students record sounds out in the surroundings and mix them. So we have not tried that, but we will try it. I think it will.
And maybe we include digital audio workstations, make it more digital and a combination of using body and instruments and digital equipment.
Yes, I think that's a democratic aspect, that everybody can create music. And you can have John Cage as an example, that what is music, and you can talk about that, what's the limits for music. And we also talk much about in research today, effective learning, and I think that's also an important thing to take the music. That is such a good way for effective learning. So I think this was really great to have it in Storyline. We too have music in our Storyline, Liselott, but not in this way. Perhaps it's something we have to try. I have made a sound clock myself for my pupils in school. They had to make noise during the time the clock go round, and they have to make to compose their own sounds in the clock. So you have a whole day. I had just perhaps an hour, but in short time. So there are many ways to do it. So this was very interesting to take part of this. We see. Do we have more questions here from you? No.
But I have to thank my mom again, because she was actually, I'm so glad she went to that presentation when we were in Ljubljana, and she insisted going there on her own, and we wanted to go elsewhere, and she was so inspired. I don't know if you know those. I think they are teacher educators, Wilson and Haskell. Do you know them? They are Swedish, I think.
I don't recognize that, no. Did you have an example we could listen to?
We have so many examples, but
yes.
My device is at home because I've been analyzing it. And I'm not sure if Øystein, we were actually supposed to show you, but something happened and we were not prepared about that. But Øystein, you have a minnepenna, don't you have? because one of the orchestra, it's fantastic. It was really good. 25 student teachers playing their sounds during a day, and it sounds amazing. It's a really good composition. So, did you find it, Øystein?
No, sorry. No.
Maybe in a break or something tomorrow we can have it add.
For sure, yeah.
But this is something you can do in nowadays. You can just put a QR code, or what do you say, and you can have the music. So we have many ways to do things today. When we don't have all the students to be there playing for us, we can have it recorded, and so it's many possibilities.
Yeah, and that's the way we actually want to go now, and further develop it and make it more integrated part of the storyline we carry out.
Yes.
We have a lot of plans, and we are so excited to go further on this.
Yes, it will be interesting to follow your work. So thank you so much for presenting this. And yes, are we?
It's lunchtime.
Yes. Then we have to thank you for this presentation, and welcome back to this room 6 if you find more interesting things here. And yes, you are going to present more, some of you here.
Yeah, we have, I think it's 7 or 8 presentations from Østfold University College. And Gunhild and Solveig are presenting at 2 o'clock, so
yes,
I recommend
that's good. Then we will have some lunch now then. Yes, thank you so much for this.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Just det. Ja, just det, nu blir allt inspelat. Vi skulle kanske ha stoppat efter presentationen. Ja, det får de